League Live, and it's Halifax against Wigan, a match that is living up to all its pre-match build-up, and young and old, they are enjoying every second of this, and I trust you are at home as well as Radlinski gets us underway. Now, if it's half as good as the first half, this will be something to savour. Clash of heads. Paul's gone down. Baldwin in the head guard. He's all right, but a nasty clash of heads with Henry Paul.
Oh, forehead to forehead, and you can see that Henry Paul is not with us at all. He really is virtually knocked unconscious, and
well, these Kiwis recover quickly.
Did they ever?
They're made of stern stuff.
It's all that haka that they do.
Des Clark again driving it forward. John Money, wonder what words of wisdom came from that mouth during half-time. Here's Baldwin again. Paul thought maybe once or twice before getting to him for that tackle, but he was helped out on that occasion by Connolly. Here's Skerritt. Skerritt drives, flicks the pass. Pearson couldn't take it in. Henry Paul picks up the pieces. Wigan back in possession.
He'll be unhappy with that, John Pendlebury, because they wanted to drive through and make sure that the kick and chase was completed right into the Wigan quarter. And this is where it all turns around, doesn't it? They're already in the Halifax half, so that when Wigan get through to their kick, they'll be able to apply the pressure, which should have been the other way around.
McCormack to Farrell. Farrell then to Robinson. The defence stands firm. 3 tackles gone. McCormack going down the blind side. Nobody with him. Moore arrives eventually. Chester wraps him up. Good stuff from the young standoff. Robinson again, dummy half. Here now is Smith. A scampering run. He's broken the first line of defence. Skerritt got there to him with the tackle on the last. And Smith trying to milk the penalty. Non forthcoming. Here now is Farrell. Farrell dabs it forward. Well picked up there by Jamie Bloom. And Jamie Bloom will start the next Halifax attack on the zero tackle, of course. Great run from Bloom.
Nice option, but well spotted by the South African Jamie Bloom. He really was equal to the task. When you talk about what John Money would have said to his Wigan charges at half-time, I'm sure that he would have said, I need a lot more effort than what you showed in the first 40.
Here's Mercer. He's put a big effort in. So has Moana. Remember, Wigan down to 12. Baldwin, beautiful ball to clinch. Over the shoulder to Pearson. Halifax throwing it round with gay abandon against the 12 men of Wigan, with Cassidy still in the sin bin.
Champagne football. That was outstanding there by the Blue Sox.
Moana now taking them on again. Skerritt takes over. Skerritt takes the tackle 10 metres from the Wigan line. Rowley is the dummy half. Here now is Gavin Clinch. Clinch taking them on, but Radlinski and McCormack get to him and wrap him up. 2 tackles left here for Halifax. What have they got in the locker? Long ball from Rowley to Baldwin. Baldwin then, looking for the runner, and he went without it, did David Bouveng.
Chance gone begging there. The Australian David Bouveng had the opportunity. Baldwin, he just overrun it, didn't he, the big centre Bouveng. But this was just outstanding, wasn't it? Support play, Baldwin, Clinch, and there we saw Pearson involved. That was just outstanding. Had the crowd on their feet, and rightly so.
Good defence on Henry Paul from Chester and Pearson. Radlinski gives it then to Danny Moore. Moore gets through the first line of defence. The reinforcements arrive. It's Gary Mercer. This now is Robinson. Let's see what was said at half-time. Bill on the touchline with a special guest.
The news from the Wigan dressing room, coach John Money really wants to see his defenders wrapping Halifax up in the tackle, because they're getting the ball away too easily. They were in the first 40. He wants to see them wrapped up, the ball clamped in the tackle, and he also wants to see fewer mistakes from his side. Made more in that first 40 than they probably made in the last 4 weeks. Halifax looking for a big first 10 minutes in this second half, knowing that if they can put another nail in the Wigan coffin, then they could really take a grip on this game. Alongside me, watching the Blue Sox winger, John Bentley, injured at the moment. John, this is gripping stuff.
Yeah, it's been a good first half. We started off extremely well, but of course Wigan, as you would expect of them, came back strongly towards the back end of the second half. It's important we get a good start this second half, Bill, and hopefully progress through the game and finish strongly.
The pace has been fantastic. Can Halifax last it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is the easiest game of the season to play. you know, Wigan at home in front of your own crowd, the best team in the league. Who needs motivated for that game? You can't run around for 80 minutes tonight, you'll never be able to do it. So, you know, let's just hope that we can stay within touch, and we need a score, don't we? We need to score pretty early now.
Yes, Halifax to score first, and that really would set the cat amongst the pigeons. Well said, John Bentley. Good kick, Radlinski just in a bit of a tangle. What a chase from Bouveng and Baldwin.
And what a kick from Gavin Clinch. Superb there, turn the full-back around. Exactly what they needed.
Robinson, he almost gets away from Chris Chester, but not quite.
Well, it's Halifax defence moving up quickly. They're forcing Wigan into virtually one-out football all the time.
Great tackle again, Mercer.
Defence like that, that's the reason why. Oh, big mistake.
Mestrov picks up the pieces and picks up a hefty tackle as well. Wigan are being harried out of their usual classy stride here by this super defence. That's good play though from McCormack. He gets it to Smith. Smith then on to Farrell. Farrell then inside to Connolly. And Connolly wrapped up by Moana. Last tackle for Wigan. Radlinski. Farrell will put boot to it. No, he gives it to Henry Paul. Chip over the top from Paul. Well read by Pearson. And Pearson's away. Support arrives. Moana. Moana takes the tackle from Connolly. Pearson, dummy half, Clinch, they go back that way again with Skerrett, and Skerrett drives it in once more.
Quick play, the ball's needed. Oh, he nearly could have got penalised there.
Well, Skerrett was looking for the penalty. It didn't come from the whistle of Steve Ganson. This now is Clark, spins the ball back in to the arms of Chester. Chester then finds Mercer, and Mercer to within 10 of the Wigan line. Jamie Blome, dummy half, he's having a go himself. Blome to the line and forced out. Great defence. Moore was there, and also Dennis Betts and Robinson. Great defence.
Outstanding, and it had to be there. He took the option, did the South African, to go into the corner. I was just about to say maybe Halifax will be thinking about taking the 1 point. All level at 12 all. I know it's only 7 minutes into this second half, but points may be hard to get.
Well, Wigan lost at Thrum Hall on the way to the title in '95, but they have scored 144 points in their subsequent visits to Halifax. I don't think it's going to be an avalanche of points tonight. Not if Halifax maintain this defence.
Well, Wigan, I'm sure, will be looking towards their hero, the skipper, Andrew Farrell. They really have got to start taking control of this game. He really hasn't had that yet.
Mestrov, that was beautiful play from him, and Smith took full advantage of the big gap up the middle. Cassidy back out of the sin bin. Radlinski, Paul, Betts in space. Paul followed up, jinked through, and sidestep Pearson. Baldwin got to him, Cassidy got the pass, and what defence from Rowley and also from Powell. Wigan
back to 6, offside. It'll be a penalty.
Moana.
No, he can't. They'll take the 2 points, I'm sure, will Wigan.
Moana was penalised.
Well, he may have saved 4. They really were stretched. Well, we saw a similar thing in the first half where the official Steve Ganson actually put the scrum down when I think it was Moore and Bell were involved very early in the piece, when he gave a knock on for a similar incident. But I think, well, I think there that perhaps Chris Chester may have been penalised for getting off the mark a little bit too early. Either way, it's,
he called that Moana was offside. So
I realise that's the reason why he's given the penalty, but you could see on the replay that the standoff Chester was not behind the whitewash. Well, Martin Moana acknowledging the bench that, yes, I know I've given it away, but you see now this man here, 24, Chester, he really should have been behind that line. He wasn't. Split second, of course, not easy for any official. I think this will be for this big fella, though.
Would have been a sin binning there for a Halifax player. Steve Ganson not producing the yellow card. Farrell instead producing the left foot and the kick. And he re-establishes Wigan's lead again, 14 points to 12 now.
Well, outstanding football from both sides, and you can see on the face of Andrew Farrell, he knows that he's been shut out of this game. He's so influential, involved in all the attack for Wigan that at times they sort of just lean on him.
That's out on the full. A big kick from Rudlinski, and it's sailed out.
That is one bad mistake.
Penalty Halifax on halfway.
At a time when you've just had the psychological lift of going into the lead. He'll be bitterly disappointed there, Rudlinski. So will the coach, John Money.
Well, Martin Pearson fancies a chance at goal here, right from the halfway line.
Hey, gotta get in the rear. They're only two behind. Keep the discipline right. Don't let him crap on it.
He's bang in front, obviously, because he's right on the centre spot. But let me try and do some maths for you. 45, 46 metres, maybe.
Keep smart, keep thinking.
That's how far he is from those posts. He's got to give it a thump, and he's got to maintain control and direction. Big kick. This to level it. Well, he's certainly got the distance. He's got the 2 points. Not a flicker on the face of John Pendlebury, but plenty of emotion on the terraces, and I've no doubt that Martin Pearson's heart's pounding as well. Mistake from the kick-off, and it's punished.
Well, isn't it amazing how Lady Luck and Fate walk hand in hand? The fullback Gibson taken off injured. Enter Mr. Pearson, and goal kicking no longer becomes a problem for the Blue Sox.
I wonder whether John Pendlebury will rue the fact that Pearson wasn't on from the start, and those 2 tries have skipped away from them unconverted.
Well, to be fair to the coach, he had to stand by a man who really has worked well over the last 4 weeks in that position. Damien Gibson was playing out of his skin, and Matthew Elliott at half-time mentioned the fact, of course, that Halifax look as though that they've got a great team spirit going, and it always helps when the coach stands by his men, and that's what he did.
Well, it's all about the top of the table, this, but the top 5 is on the agenda Sunday at 6, Sky Sports 1, and it's a crucial match for both Warrington and London. Join us for that, Sunday at 6, Sky Sports 1. Robinson under intense pressure, and so was Farrell, but Robinson got the kick in. And here now comes Jamie Bloom. Robinson followed up the kick. Oh, and great defence from Moore, pushing Bloom back.
It had to be. And again we see...
penalty. Yeah. Moore was in the way. And as the Halifax player tried to get the ball at the play, the ball, Moore impeded him. And that's why the knock-on came up.
Well, it's quite clear there's a ruling.
It was a knock-on as it turned out.
It's quite clearing as the ruling states in the laws that once you've made the tackle, you must roll away from that particular area where they're playing the ball. He failed to do that, and he must be spinning chips, the coach John Money, because yet again Wigan get into a position where they can launch the attack and make a meal of it.
Well, the skipper's returned, Carl Harrison. He's had half an hour or so on the bench to recharge the batteries, and his team are level pegging at 14-all against Wigan, and this is Moana for the Blue Sox, all wrapped up though by Henry Paul, by Cassidy and Mestrov, who was the 3rd man in. Rowley, dummy half. Des Clark. Rowley again. Clinch. Chester. Drifts a little kick over the top looking for Bloom. It comes up almost. Oh, Robinson's put it down. And Dio Powell flicked that ball with his foot. Now, was Moore offside?
Well, has he gone applied the knock-on? Well, Moore came from an offside position.
Well, he must have been offside unless there was a flick at it with the Halifax boot.
Well, he came off Robinson's head, so it's off goal. That's the play on.
Powell got a flick at it.
Well spotted by the official, but well, he's saying that it's a knock-on. Came off the head there. Well spotted, Eddie.
It's Halifax's head and feet, though. That's the crucial point.
Well, he's nominated that the knock-on came from Robinson, but came off his head.
Well, big chance here for Halifax. Chester now gives it width to Dio Powell, who flicks the ball back to Pearson. Scrambling defence from Connolly again. Powell, the dummy half, he's going down the blind side. Now he comes back and retraces his steps. Connolly's after him. Connolly gets the ankle on him, and then Gilmore finishes him off. Pearson to Chester. Chester straightens it up. Oh, flicks the pass into the arms of Betts.
But why on earth doing the offload? That's
Here
early
goes
in the
Betts.
tackle.
Betts has got one try to make for a century for Wigan. He's got the ball inside. Great tackle back by Gavin Clinch. Someone could be in the bin. Someone could be in the bin. It's going to be Pearson.
Come right in over the top.
Halifax now have to do it
Hang
tough.
on, wait, Andy, why just give the
But
signal.
why on earth did they try to offload there? They gave it straight to Betts, who had an open run for the line. He did well. It was early in the tackle count.
It was the second tackle, Steve-O.
They didn't have to pressurise. It's things like that. I know he's only a youngster and he's got a great future ahead of him, but Chris Chester may rue that fact that he's offloaded in an impossible situation.
Well, he'll rue it if Wigan get across the line for a try here, and they're looking for one with Farrell. Rowley gets to him, and Farrell keeps the momentum going. Eventually he was finished off. Bouveng and Clinch came in. Connolly. And Mestrov disappears under the tackle from 3. McCormack at dummy half. Smith, they go down the blind side again. Lovely ball. Connolly, oh, what a tackle that was. It was Moana. That was a try saver. Cassidy. Farrell, long pass to Paul. Here's Dennis Betts. Betts straightens up. Betts is after the tongue. That's penalty to Halifax.
Obstruction of a man not carrying the football. Betts utilised it. Well spotted, he was dragged back. There's Betts, and you can see there that Danny Moore impeded Mercer. It was only a little touch, but it was sufficient to stop the run from the big second rower coming across. Well, it's all happening here. Moana, a try-saving tackle. You'll see it in the background. Moore deliberately halts the progress of Mercer. A couple of minutes before that, we saw Rowley come up with a wonderful try-saving tackle. This game's got everything.
It's a thriller at the New Shea, and Rowley to Clark. Halifax slugging it out toe to toe, but Clark loses it.
Well, again,
it was a heavyweight tackle, but was he trying to slip the pass away?
He was, and why on earth did he want to do that? They're 14 all. They're not 6 points behind. They do not have to force the issue. We mentioned the fact that they could have gone for the 1 point early in the game. Was it a hand from Farrell? Well, there was as well. But either way, you could see that Clark was definitely trying to get an offload there. They don't need it. That says it all, doesn't it, on the bench?
Radlinski and Paul on the run around, and Paul skips inside Chester and skips inside Mercer. Chester gets back to him for the second effort. Des Clark is replaced by Richard Marshall. Robinson. Farrell drives it in.
Well, this could be another classic case of a Wigan try scoring from individual brilliance rather than team effort that we saw last week against the Saints. Because they're going to have to dig deep for something individually brilliant.
Double change by John Money. Great tackle. Marshall it was with a super hit, but still Wigan in possession. Oh, slack pass. Horton drops on it. That's the last tackle. Wigan have lost ground.
1 pointer, surely.
Farrell. Radlinski. Straight up in the air, sliced it. Connolly to Radlinski. Radlinski out wide it goes. That's super stuff from Tuilangi.
Unbelievable defence there. They had the opportunity, but it was good pressure from Halifax. They kept it alive. It wasn't the best kick from Radlinski, but at least he got himself there. Tuilangi wraps up the winger, Mark Bell.
And I tell you something, Andrew Farrell roasted his side then after they were caught in possession in their own half of the field. Here's Harrison. Halifax have got the sniff of something. And wouldn't it be a famous victory when you bear in mind they've only won twice in the league against Wigan in a quarter of a century. And don't forget, Halifax still one man down. Clinch! Oh, now then.
I think you find that Bouveng got a fingertip to that.
Well, the referee goes for the video ref.
We got to that first. I'm totally unsure here at the moment.
I think you'll find that it's a big Australian sender, Bouveng.
Or maybe Wiggins forced the ball dead. Can you just
no,
check it?
maybe it's Bell.
Well, you take your pick
What
here.
the last play?
I think Bell just by a fingertip. Yep. Just there, but does he get to it? Oh, dearie me. I'm no good at horses. Last time I backed anything into the Grand National, it's still running, so talk about a split decision.
Well, the video referee has to make the decision as to how the game will restart. And it's a goal line dropout. He's given Halifax benefit of the doubt. Robbie McCormack was waiting on the 20-metre line then to start with a 20-metre tap.
Well, he's obviously thought that Bell has got the fingertips first. Perhaps looks that way. Pretty difficult though on the camera angle. Either way, Halifax get possession.
And more pressure here on this Wigan line. Mercer is underneath the dropout. Mercer has run willingly all night and still he goes. Well, have you spotted a man of the match? I fancy he might emerge yet. But if you want to make a vote now, it's 0891 33 33 13. Put yourself in line for those 2 grand final tickets. And I tell you something, that grand final at Old Trafford on October the 24th will be an occasion nobody should miss. Moana inside to Bloom.
And don't write off the fact that the Blue Sox might be out there on that big day.
Well, this is giving notice to a lot of people, isn't it? Tuilangi, all wrapped up by Henry Paul, but what a difficult character to put down.
Good defence by Paul. Is that a big game?
Drop goal attempt. Rowley, miss.
Good option. He had much time to think here. Went for it and just hooked it
straight
to the left.
Of the post, yeah.
Come on, keep it right.
Dear me. They realised that at 1 point it's going to be so vital. Still plenty of time on the clock.
Well, Halifax have got all the big boys still to come here at the new Shea, if my memory serves. They've got Bradford and Leeds still to come. And by then, the stadium will be up to its full capacity. They've done a lot of work on this stadium. And away to our right, the second phase of this ground development is well taking shape. The terracing will be open and ready for the Bradford hordes on this near side of your screen. And there'll be almost 12,000 in here then.
Well, if they play like this, the Blue Sox, every week at home, I mean, should I say that they'll have a full house? It's a bit long.
It is long, and Powell has picked it up. That's a great chase forward on the kick from Tony Smith. Here now is Jamie Bloom again. Well, wrapped up by Robinson.
The option was there, but it wasn't the best kick by Tony Smith.
He'll be relieved if the next 2.5 minutes pass without Wigan scoring another point. Martin Pearson still in the sin bin. Halifax on the charge with Marshall. Good young fine Richard Marshall.
And that was a most ludicrous situation with Halifax trying to offload early in the tackle when you've got 1 man in the sin bin.
Wigan having to do a lot more work in the tackling. 222 so far. That will inevitably take its toll. Tuilangi again. What a chase downfield. What a tackle on Radlinski. Both of them are hurt.
Shoulder, he could have sprung it to Ilangi. It was a big hit. I'm not sure that Radlinski is 100%, but you can see in the background now, well, Halifax down to 11 men. One in the sin bin. Oh, nearly a mistake from Betts.
Yes, he released the pass. Harrison was hunting it, but Robinson dropped on it first. This is Gilmore. Gilmore loses it. That's a knock-on against Wigan. The pressure is telling on Wigan. Halifax really are turning the screw, and as Steve-O says, at the moment, just with 11 men.
Good defensive work yet again. Mercer leading the way. I think Gilmore just lost it. Well, there's the injured Tuilangi, who certainly played his part. Nice to see he's got his colour coordination now with his hairstyle. Multicoloured the last time we had him on the Sky TV screen. Oh, bad mistake by Bloom.
Bloom's lost it.
He threw a punch as well.
He did. Gilmore was hanging on to him. He couldn't chase and try and make up for his mistake. Here's Robinson. Jack in the box.
Great scrambling defence there, and this is the incident. It was a good hit from Gilmore, and Bloom lost his cool.
Holgate unloads and finds Tony Smith. Tony Smith up the middle. Oh, and scrambling defence gets to him. Baldwin it was, and clinch. Here's Farrell. Wigan attacking down that side. Two dummies from Farrell. Ball inside McCormack. McCormack will score. Put it down to Andy Farrell though.
Oh, the boot went across the face. Rowley's apologising to McCormack.
McCormack gets the try. Has the referee given it? He has now. But you can put that down to the brilliance of the Wigan skipper. Two dummies, and McCormack was in. And Pearson just about to return to the fray. But Wigan strike while Halifax are still down to 12.
Jamie Bloom come out with a mistake, and look inside that they went for. You can see there, he threw the dummy back on the inside. They've kept Andy Farrell so quiet throughout this game. I said it may take an individual piece of brilliance, and it was. It was the dummy and the strength. But full credit to the hooker, Robbie McCormack. He's in fine form. That's the incident where Rowley went through it.
The potential for injury, it's going to be placed on report.
And McCormack gets the try, and in the background you might be able to hear that the referee Steve Ganson has placed the incident where Rowley collided with McCormack on report, and he will allow the disciplinary committee to take another look at that next week. Having seen it for the second or third time, I don't think there was any intent by Rowley, and he immediately got up and apologised to McCormack that he had collided with him. The important news, though, is that McCormack is okay. Here it is, and he appeared to me to be trying to pull out, but McCormack was unhappy with the challenge, and that's why referee Steve Ganson has placed that whole incident on report. McCormack gets the try, and it was down to 3 dummies from Andy Farrell. He sold 3, and the Halifax defence bought them. McCormack had an easy run to the line. Wigan back in front. Farrell, he knows it's an important kick, this. He's so reliable. 20 points to 14.
Quick thinking on the blind side. Look at the first and second markers. They're nowhere. Dummy half already has it. McCormack out wide. That's the first dummy. Second, third. Good support play. That's a fine effort. It's not just fluke there. He could see that Halifax defence was caught napping on the blind side. The result, the Aussie hooker. What a vital try that could be.
Only a second of Super League 3 for Robbie McCormack. Pearson is back on. Halifax back to strength. Mercer, what a match he's had. Taking them on like a pinball wizard. Gilmore is replaced by Paul Johnson.
Well, I must say, it's probably the first time that Mercer has not shadowed Andy Farrell throughout this match. He's done a fine job at keeping him quiet, and that just one little lapse in concentration on that blind side. Not just Mercer in particular, but the entire side.
Last tackle. High kick from Clinch. The ball comes back to Baldwin.
Let's play on.
And Wigan have got it.
They both had a chance, and they messed around. They were expecting that they'd go for the knock-on. It came from the Wigan player. It was a high kick, and Bell did get to it first. That's a knock-on.
Well, that should have been head and feet at the scrum to Halifax.
Certainly on that replay, you're right.
There's no doubt about it. As it is, Wigan are in possession.
Well, plenty of time left for the Blue Sox.
Here's Holgate again. Almost through up the middle. Good tackle by Harrison. Here goes Tony Smith.
He's tried hard tonight. He's certainly been one of the stars for Wigan.
So is this fella, Farrell. Kick to the corner, as always, and just the right side of the corner flag. No, Bloom said, and the touch judge agreed, that it clipped the corner flag as it went across the line. And he's right, is he?
I don't know.
Hardly moved.
I didn't see him move. Must have been a puff of wind. Keep your mouth shut next time, Eddie.
11 minutes to go. Halifax, 6 points behind. Whatever happens in the next 10.5 minutes, I think you will be able to remember this one for a long, long time. Super game. Powell. Great defence. Johnson was in there, so too Simon Horton.
Lucky there, Powell. I think he lost control of it.
Baldwin. The
Play
ball
on.
went backwards. Here's Rowley.
Well, the Wigan defence, they're working overtime now. They know they have to.
Clinch. Another little kick over the top, but straight this time into the arms of Smith. Oh, Smith loses it! And Bouveng's picked it up for Halifax.
What a mistake there from the halfback. Bouveng did well then. He was thinking about passing the ball out wide, but it's better to set up.
This is Chester. He's hauled down 12 metres from the line. Now then, Moana. Moana takes the tackle. Halifax bang in front of the sticks. Mercer and Clinch. Clinch stretches out and scores. Gavin Clinch gets the try for Halifax. Referee's not giving it. He's handed it on to the
just
video.
check the last play the ball.
I think it was a
possibly
knock-on.
be a knock-on.
He didn't play the ball
You'll just check
correctly.
the play the
Well,
ball.
this could be
May possibly
lightning
be a knock-on.
striking twice. Steve Ganson asked for exactly this last Saturday.
I don't think this will be given
in
as a
Cardiff.
try. There's an interference here and he doesn't play the ball correctly. He loses it there, and that will be the reason why it's no try. What a mistake. Well, it was good work there by Clinch. He threw the dummy. He's been a live wire tonight. The competition between Smith and Clinch tonight has been outstanding. But I'm afraid this has got an NO in front of it.
I think everybody knows except the Halifax fans. What's the decision? No try. And the 10-metre scrum to the defence. Clinch believes it's grand larceny, but it was the knock-on at the play the ball by Moana that has cost Halifax that try. And again, for the second match that Steve Ganson has been in charge of, he's asked the video referee to look at the last play the ball to discover if there's been a knock-on, and for the second time in a row there has been a knock-on. Two crucial decisions in two crucial matches.
And full credit to the official who didn't panic. Many a referee would have panicked and just pointed there. I know if you're a Halifax fan, that's what you wanted. Now there could be a penalty here if it collapses again.
Wigan have got out of jail. Henry Paul.
First. Come on, think.
This is Johnson. And it's Connolly, I beg your pardon. Connolly still. Mark Bell. Henry Paul. Holgate. Johnson, I'll get him right in a minute. Robinson, dummy half.